Chris Park, and welcome to Stand-Up Comedy Talk.
Where we introduce you to great comedy, both old and new.
Where's Bo?
Wherever he was during your female comedy show. What you thought? You gonna do a black comedy episode without a black comedian?
No, dude.
I'm messing with you.
I'd like to welcome our friend and fellow comedian, J Lat, to help us with today's episode.
Thanks, Chris.
Our first special is Eddie Murphy's Raw. Raw is a true blueprint of what a great comedy show should be. My all-time favorite bit in this special is the phone conversation he has with his father.
Eddie, what's wrong with you? You had a fight? No, don't tell me nothing. Nobody gets punched for nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Probably punch you in your mouth for something you did when you was living here. Eddie, who broke that lamp in 1971? That's why that man kicked your ass tonight. If he's still there, I appreciate it if you go up and tell Mr. Father said thank you.
I remember watching this stand-up special when I was about 11 years old. I was probably in the 6th grade. Some of the most raunchiest stuff you ever hear in your life. That's why it's called Raw. I remember going to class the next day and everybody who had HBO was watching it too. So we was all like saying the lines. One of our favorite lines we always do is when Bill Cosby calls him like, I would like to talk to you about some of the things that you say on your show. A lot of Eddie Murphy Raw is about relationship advice and all the bullshit he goes through with women. Mind you, I'm only 11 years old. I haven't even smelt pussy yet. Like seeing Eddie Murphy before and Coming to America, Trading Places, great movies, but I didn't see him do stand-up. It was like art in motion, man. His impressions were impeccable.
We don't know everything about Michael Jackson. He might be this bad motherfucker. Can I talk to you for a minute? What's your motherfucking problem, man? You know that I'm Michael motherfucking Jackson, I will bust your ass. I'll moonwalk all up and down your ass. I hear some more shit, I'm gonna put this glove up your ass.
He started with Delirious. He's talking about Ralph Crandom and Ed Norton being gay and Mr. T being gay. But then he talks about Raw, about all the backlash he got and how the gay dudes in San Francisco was on the car like, pull over. A lot of stuff he said would be considered homophobic now. We weren't as, progressive as we are now, especially towards the LGBTQ community. But this is 86. This is back when your dad would let you sit on your lap and drive the car. Like, we didn't care back then. And then there was a pre-skit right before the actual stand-up featured Eddie Murphy as a young kid. It was actually the little boy from the Cosby Show. You have no idea what I'm talking about.
What's the Cosby Show?
It also features a young Tatiana Ali, which is the youngest daughter in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show, and he still has no idea what I'm talking about. It also featured a young Samuel L. Jackson.
Even before Snakes on a Plane?
Yeah, before he put on that eye patch.
Yeah.
Became Nick Fury. Also was directed by Keenan Ivory Wayne and Robert Townsend. They were all friends back then. They all hung out. And this is the genesis of In Living Color, which features Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, David Alan Grier. If we didn't have Eddie Murphy Raw, we wouldn't have In Living Color, we wouldn't have Jim Carrey. I would love to see him do some stand-up again. Man, we need it. We need some Eddie Murphy stand-up.
Our next special is Dave Chappelle's Killing 'Em Softly. Dave Chappelle is one of the kings of the comedy world. In an interview with GQ, the great Kevin Hart referred to Chappelle as someone who makes it look effortless. He's in a completely different realm. Chappelle has always been one of my favorite stand-ups. Besides Chappelle's show, which was pretty universally viewed as genius, my favorite bit in this special is him talking about Sesame Street.
I turned on Sesame Street and I realized Sesame Street teaches kids how to judge people. They got a character on there named Oscar. Treat this guy like shit the entire show. You're a grouch. Bitch, I live in a fucking trash can. Then you wonder why your kids grow up and step over homeless people. Get it together, grouch.
He's one of the realest comics in the world today, in my opinion. Clearly, Dave has the respect of comedians all around the world.
Actually, a lot of black folks don't agree with that. One black comic by the name of Faison Love. If you don't know Faison Love, he was Big Worm, the first Friday movie. He actually said on The Breakfast Club, and I quote that, and don't you ever say this, he said, niggas never found Chappelle funny.
I definitely wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that either. But I totally disagree with him. You have more mainstream black comics who have that mainstream success. You have underground, they call it Chitlin Circuit comics, who pretty much do all black shows. It's a harder crowd. A lot of black comedians think you don't rock those kind of crowds, you're not that good. It just seemed like a little bit of hate on his part. A lot of people saying that. Comedy is comedy, and Chappelle transcends comedy. You gotta give it up to him either way. You don't need all the hate. Dave Chappelle has one of the most distinct styles and delivery. His voice is so melodic. He has the audience putty in his hands. He tells such great, vivid stories. It makes it seem so effortless. He actually has has a music and dance background. He went to like a music and dance school and acting school in DC. Like a lot of comedians actually do talk in bars, and they write their jokes in bars like it was music. And then there's a political commentary.
Only one I feel sorry for is Lewinsky. It's a hard thing to be famous for. I mean, nobody want to be the most famous cocksucker of all times and shit. Gotta stop judging people. That girl was young, and she made a mistake that young girls make. She wanted to fuck a powerful man. I never understood how famous a president was, but imagine somebody could suck your dick and then they're famous.
That is just brilliant shit. But now it relates to the day with Trump and McDougal and Stormy Daniels. Like it all comes around. Next is Hannibal Buress live from Chicago.
Sick, man. I love Hannibal Buress, man. I love that guy from the Eric Andre show. I just love his delivery and his whole act. It's so dry. He always acts like he's just totally stoned out of his mind, which he probably is. You know, his whole outlook on life and situations that happen to him is just so funny. His set about being an American talking to foreigners.
Are you from the USA? I said, yeah.
I don't like Obama. I don't like what he's doing with the Israel and Palestine situation. I have no idea what Obama's doing with the Israel and Palestine situation. But I don't want to sound like an idiot, so I got to keep her talking. So I say, well, elaborate. He's just like a smarter version of George Bush. No, Obama's nothing like Bush. Don't you talk about my president like that, you Norwegian bitch.
I used to write jokes on index cards way before I did comedy. I performed in front of dates. I never had a nerve to get in front of an audience. And then just happened upon a Hannibal Buress live from Chicago, and it came on Comedy Central. And I'm like watching, like, who is this guy? I never even heard of him before. The flow he had, the cadence, probably next to Chappelle, he had one of the best flows I ever seen. And you're right, he seemed like he was high. It's like he just had a fun flow to him, like he's just having fun up there. Before him, as far as black comics goes, I've only seen Def Comedy Jam. It's rowdy, people are yelling shit. You know, it's crazy. Watching him and knowing me, and I ain't no thug, I never pretended to be, but seeing him geekish almost in his approach, I was like, I could do that shit. Talk about everyday shit like he did. And that's what kind of like led me to do comedy. I think that following Saturday I went to Otto Shrunken Head Mic in New York, and I signed my name up and did comedy for the first time in my life, and I loved it. I didn't know it was that easy. You could just, I could sign my name and I could just do comedy. And then I saw him live. They had fucking ballerinas on stage, and he was just doing comedy like there was nothing going on behind him. Like, this fucking guy serious? That is so cool. I said, I want to do that. I want to fuck with people like that. I love that. I love that Andy Kaufman type shit. He's intelligent. You can tell that about him. He has a style about him. He doesn't care. He does stuff that I've never seen a comedian do, especially a black one.
I wanted to see this funny rapper riff rap. They played his music with the vocals, and every now and then he would come in and say 2 words. Basically, he got paid to vibe out to his own music on stage. I want to approach comedy like that. I don't do it now.
I don't like throwing out the pickle juice. It just feels wasteful.
Right.
So lately I've been dipping my fingers in the pickle juice, and I'm flicking on my sandwiches for flavor.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, he definitely has that aura of just like, I'm gonna do something nobody sees coming. Kind of like ahead of his time kind of mentality.
Yeah. And you know what? It's that Chicago thing. Besides being like almost get shot to death kind of place, it produces some great artists.
Yeah, man. A lot of great comedians have come out of Chicago, like from Second City and stuff. SNL. It's kind of like a mecca for comedy, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with Hannibal's success. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot, J Lat, for being in the episode. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Where can we find you, J Lat?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter as J Lat the Comedian. Smooth and cool. That's a new word. That's
Smooth.
Right there. Smooth. White boy.
That's sorry.
My man.
My man.
Comedy doesn't get you pussy, guys. I don't care who tells you that.